I think one of the most painful parts about healing is missing someone even if you know that they are not good for you. Because the same person who you miss, who you love, is also the same person who confuse us, have hurt us, and who have made us feel very unappreciated and undervalued. So it's confusing, right? And it's contradictory to what we are feeling and what is the reality. So we have this question in our mind: if they hurt me so much, why do I still miss them? Isn't it? The psychology tells us something important. Humans do not only attach through love, but we also attach through familiarity, inconsistency, emotional intensity, and unmet needs. Sometimes we miss people not because the relationship was healthy, but because our nervous system becomes attached to the emotional pattern. So what do I mean by this? That our nervous system gets attached to an emotional pattern. Just like if we do a physical activity, or if we do exercise regularly, our body gets used to that exercise, right? And our body also changes. We get abs, we become thin, we become healthy. Our lifestyle becomes like that. In the similar way, if you are there in a pattern of emotional neglect, our nervous gets used to the neglect. And if something healthy happens, we don't understand why that healthy is happening. So we question that healthy love or the healthy relationship. You might think that why am I attached to people who are toxic? But maybe it's because since your childhood you have been exposed to toxic people and toxic relationship, and you have seen toxicity around you. So you might think that's your normal, that's your regular day-to-day people, and that's your regular day-to-day how people should be treating you. That's what you feel. So that's what I mean, that our nervous systems become attached to our emotional patterns. And healing begins when we learn the difference between attachment and peace. So let's go to the main points now. This point is very basic point, but it's a very important and very crucial point to understand why we miss someone even if they have hurt us. And that is, familiar pain feels safer than the unknown. Psychologically, the brain is drawn towards familiarity, even when familiarity has hurt us. If someone becomes emotionally tied to our daily life, our routine, or even our identity, losing them feels like losing a part of ourselves. This is why people often go back to relationships that made them unhappy. Not because the pain felt good, because the pain felt familiar. Sounds familiar to what you're going through right now? Familiar pain sounds safer and feels safer than the ultimate unknown. But there is a beauty in the unknown of the future. There is a beauty in choosing yourself. There is a beautiful, beautiful journey and a beautiful destination waiting for you when you don't choose familiarity, when you choose the unknown, and when you trust the unknown. The second point is intermittent reinforcement creates strong attachment. One of the strongest psychological bonding patterns is called intermittent reinforcement. This happens when affection, validation, love, or attention is unpredictable. Sometimes they are warm, sometimes distant, sometimes loving, sometimes unavailable. That partner you have who is always busy, but all of a sudden is very loving, all of a sudden is very distant, and you are like, did I do something? And strangely enough, guys, inconsistency can create strong emotional attachment than stability. Why is that so? Because the brain becomes conditioned to the reward. It creates emotional addiction. You keep waiting for the next moment of closeness. This is why letting go can feel almost physically painful. Not because the relationship was healthy, but because the nervous system became trapped in the circle of uncertainty and relief. So one fine day, this person does not answer you, and you are so anxious, and then after a few days, a person answers you. So that becomes your relief. Now this becomes a pattern, and this becomes a cycle of uncertainty and then relief, uncertainty and relief. And every time you get that relief, it's like a reward. Every time you get a yes, every time you get a call, every time you get a message, every time you get a I love you, that becomes like a reward to your brain. Yeah. Third point, missing someone does not mean the relationship was right. Let that sink in. This is one of the hardest truths to accept. You know, when you miss someone, your whole world is disturbed. You can't concentrate at your work, you can't concentrate at school. You always think, how is the person doing? Is the person alright? Why is the person not texting? Is he or she has forgotten me? And so on. You get so anxious. And to be honest, missing someone is a very human emotional response. It does not automatically mean that the relationship was right for you or the relationship was meant for you. You can miss someone, the connection, the memories, the comfort, the potential, the potential, the hope, the version of them you wanted them to become, the version of them you wanted them to become. But love alone cannot sustain relationships that consistently damage your emotional well-being. Love needs commitment, love needs conversation, love needs communication, love needs effort, love needs to be there for you. Sometimes we confuse longing with capabilities. Sometimes we even confuse longing with compatibility. Let that sink in. The fourth point. Grief does not mean you made the wrong decision. You know, after the breakup and you're like, I miss them, I should call them back, maybe I did the wrong decision. No. It does not mean you made the wrong choice or you made the wrong decision. A lot of people think letting go hurts this much, maybe I should go back. But grief is a normal psychological response to emotional loss. Even unhealthy relationships create attachment bonds. So when you leave, your brain and body go through withdrawal form. Routines, emotional dependency, familiarities, hope, connection. Pain after leaving does not always mean the relationship was right. Sometimes it simply means the attachment was deep. Are you good till here? The fifth point. Healing means choosing peace over attachment. I'll say to you once more. Healing means choosing peace over attachment. Healing often begins when we stop asking, do I miss them? That's not the question you ask. Instead, you ask, what do you ask? Did this relationship allow me to feel emotionally safe? Did that person respect me? Was I valued? And was my heart at peace? Because attachment can exist without emotional safety. And sometimes the healthiest thing we can do is release people we love because staying connected to them keeps hurting us. Sometimes the healthiest thing we can do for ourselves is letting go of them. And letting go is not an act of not loving them, but letting go is an act of loving yourself and having self-respect for yourself. So now we'll go to the conclusion. I think one of the saddest parts of being human is realizing that love and attachment are not the same thing. You can love someone and be attached to them. You may not love someone and still be attached to the emotional pattern. You may be attached to the potential you thought they had. You may be attached to the memories. You may be attached to the imaginated version you had of them. You may be attached to the future that you thought you will have with them. You can deeply miss someone and still understand that they are not healthy for your life anymore. And that realization can feel devastating. I understand that. It's devastating because part of healing is grieving not only the person, but also the future you imagined with them. But healing asks us a different question. Does this connection bring me peace, or does it keep reopening the wounds I'm starting to heal from? And sometimes the answer hurts us. It really does. But choosing yourself does not mean that the love that you gave was fake or the love that you felt was fake. It does not erase the memories. It does not mean that you never cared for them. It simply means that you're learning that love should not constantly cost you your emotional well-being. And maybe real healing is understanding this. You can miss someone and still choose to let them go.